Hi, this is Coach Colette, and welcome back to another episode of Financial Fridays. So this month is another awareness month connected to mental health, and yet it is different than the awareness month that we had back in May. So you may have seen the acronym in all caps BIPOC, which stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. Well, this is BIPOC National Mental Health Awareness Month, and the goal is really to bring attention to the impact of trauma that stems from systemic oppression and racism that has impacted these communities and my community, if you will. And so a lot of the efforts that focus on combating white supremacy and oppression and racism don't always focus on how communities of color adopt, reinforce, and internalize the messages and beliefs that come from these systemic oppressions. And that is the reason for this Mental Health Awareness Month, because we really want to focus on the impact of trauma. And it's not just the trauma that happens in present day, it also is the trauma that stems from historic and ancestral trauma. So this month we're going to be focusing on the impact of trauma as it relates to Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. So there is a hashtag, which is hashtag impact of trauma, and it's an opportunity on social media where we can be sharing how racism and systemic oppression and historical and ancestral trauma has impacted our mental health. It's also an opportunity to talk about how we are resilient and how we are taking steps to take care of our mental health and well-being, be that self-care, be that therapy, be that coaching, be that modalities like EFT-Tapping that I have shared about before. So I'm looking forward to this month having these conversations around the impact of trauma, particularly how it impacts Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. So that's all for me for now. Get ready and listen up to today's tip from Singh.
Hello everyone, this is Singh of the Investing Podcast with your weekly Financial Friday tip. I just want to wish everybody a great July 4th weekend. I definitely think you should spend some time in celebration of love, finances, and all that is great in your life. With that said, that is your weekly Financial Friday tip. Have a great weekend and happy July 4th. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Coach Colette with just a few more words and thoughts before we ease into the weekend today. I was doing a little bit more digging on the BIPOC Minority Health Month and wanted to let you all know that it was back in 2008 in recognition of Bebe Moore Campbell that we have this awareness month. And she was a best-selling author, journalist, and teacher who really encapsulated and embodied the message of self-love and self-care. And I love this quote that I found on the Zora magazine website, which is, "When we finally stop asking America to love us and begin to love ourselves, we will prosper as a people." And that message really resonates with me. I think when I decided to begin the self-care challenge a couple of years ago, that was something that I wouldn't have articulated it that way and that amazingly. Yet I believe in that very strongly, the sense of developing and strengthening and enhancing your self-love, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-worth is what really grounds you. And it's almost like your feet become like roots into the earth and you are a tree. And yes, you may sway and yes, you may bend, but it's going to take a really, really strong gust of wind to snap or break you. And that was the analogy that just popped into my head as I'm thinking about and reading this quote. And another thing about this awareness month that has caught my attention is originally it was called Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. And I love that Mental Health America has decided to take away that minority term and really refocus our attention on BIPOC and really starting to honor the journeys of Black, Indigenous, and other peoples of color. And as they say on their site, that using the term minority really continues to perpetuate negative images and stereotypes, and it really focuses on a lack as opposed to an abundance. And so as we are thinking about this month and as we journey through this month, I want us to continue this focus on abundance and resilience. It does not, again, mean that there won't be challenging times ahead, yet we can ground in our self-esteem, our self-worth, our self-love, and be able to weather the storms, if you will. And we can come together as a collective, as a community, and be able to support one another. So as you are easing into this weekend, I wish you health, I wish you joy, I wish you light, and I hope you'll take some time to reflect on what gives you greater self-confidence, what allows you to show and express yourself more self-love, what about you really rejuvenates yourself and enlightens yourself. Today is, I've called Freedom Fridays, if you follow me on Twitter. And part of that freedom can come from really understanding and recognizing and celebrating and embodying all that you are. Okay, I'm off the soapbox for now, so hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be speaking again soon. So what is your takeaway from this week's Financial Fridays segment? What might you do differently around your money and your mindset? For more financial advice, you can check out Suki's podcast, Invest Singh, where I also share tips on his Wellness Wednesdays segment. If you enjoyed this episode and haven't already subscribed, you can do so on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. You can also connect with me on Instagram at Coach_Colette for more inspiration on personal growth and wellness. Tune in next Friday for another episode and get ready to start within to finish strong.